Alright guys, TacticalRab again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. One team sits alone at the very bottom of the CDL standings right now, and that team is the Los Angeles Thieves. And based on their schedule going forward, it does not seem like their chances are improving significantly to actually turn this season around. Is there a realistic possibility that the world champions of a couple of years ago will not even make the world championship this year? What needs to change for this roster? Do they need to completely blow it up and start from scratch again? Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. This I thought was insane, by the way. Here we are on COD Mobile, and we've got wall running. We've got Nuketown. I mean, this looks like the Black Ops 3 Nuketown or whatever. I mentioned it again. I actually can't believe it. I didn't even mean to. But, I mean, what am I meant to do? This comes up and it looks like Black Ops 3. Let's do Black Ops 2, though, just real quick, because actually a new update was spotted to Black Ops 2. And you've read this correctly. The 2012 Black Ops 2, they've added a new update to the game, which fixes Emblem Editor and Theater Mode. Now, I don't know what this actually means in terms of a fix, because if you guys played Black Ops 2 back in the day, you'll probably remember some of the emblems that people would come up with might not be allowed nowadays. There were probably a few that I had when I was like, 13 or whatever, that would probably get you cancelled today, to be perfectly honest. But it seems the reason why they've done this is because it's going to probably go live on the Game Pass. And this was one of the optimistic things people had around the Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard, is that all of these old games will start to get support. And even I think it was noted that the Black Ops 1 servers went back online a few months ago. Maybe that's not the case now, but I'm pretty sure they at least played around with it, because it seems like all of Call of Duty wants to be under the kind of Game Pass header for Xbox, and I'm guessing you can do it on PC as well, so people can actually go back and play these old games. Now, is that going to fix the hacking problem? Because these old games, you can still kind of play them a little bit. Like, I remember I went back to try and play Black Ops 1. This is probably a good few years ago now, but I went to try and play it, and there was just a guy under the map with an MP5K with gold gun on it and just killing everyone. You couldn't see him. So it was like, well, it's not a great experience, to be fair. And there's still problems with Black Ops 2, like, the blur glitch and stuff like this that we've discussed in the cheating documentary we did on COD over at the Breaking Point channel. But still, Black Ops 2 is a great game, and it seems like, based on this and other changes, it's going to be playable again in the near future, which is, apparently every other COD is going to be in the same boat, which is going to be absolutely fantastic if they execute this correctly. But as I say, cheaters have been a problem in all the old COD games because they kind of lack support, and then the anti-cheat, well, it doesn't exist, does it? And it's easier to, I guess, cheat in those games over time when nobody cares because people have moved on to play the more recent games. But people still cheat today, and it doesn't seem to be going away. I don't know what's going on with this Ricochet kernel level anti-cheat, but it doesn't do anything clearly, at least most of the time. And as Parasite says, cheating in online games will only get worse and worse unless they have a legit game admin banning people live as reports come in, or an anti-cheat that's very invasive on your computer, which is, this is what Valorant does. They have a very invasive anti-cheat, which is effective, but even that's not like fully effective. There's still kind of ways around it. To be honest, the easier approach, certainly for stuff like challenges, is really just to go back to console, which I really think is where we need to be going. But there's been lots of frustration for many players over the last couple of days, especially, if you're a decent player and you get up to the higher ranks, you're just going to play a lot of cheaters, right? Cammy was talking about it, aBeZy was talking about it, and as Merc says, I think something seriously has needed to be done about this for 4 years now, but I could be wrong, it might be only 3 years, but, regardless, it's a major problem, and we did see Drazah and Fellow trying to get 8s going, because if ranked is chalked with some of these guys, getting some 8s back up and running is probably what makes the most sense for some of these guys. But Fellow, of course, is on the Ravens, Drazah's on FaZe, rather different level of success for those teams so far this season, and same for these two players as well, I suppose. We've got the number 1 and number 2 Slayer ratings. Just to clarify Slayer rating, this is the number of kills expected per player if a series went the distance. So it kind of calculates based on, let's say you drop 50 kills over 3 maps, it kind of calculates, all right, that performance there would have mean you drop this over a standard 5-map series. So basically is kills per 10 in a roundabout way. Scrap actually leads the way by quite some margin here. He's expected to get 88 kills in a standard 5-map series, which is really high if you think about it. Pred's number 2 with 84. But as you go further and further down the tier list that we put together the other day, the fewer, well, the smaller the numbers get effectively, and this was our D tier with Vegas, Surge, Ravens, Gorillas, and Thieves. Now, there's some debate on whether this is fair enough, whether even other teams should be further down or higher up, or maybe we should have added another tier, right? It still kind of feels to me that FaZe and OpTic in the same tier is, well, we haven't seen OpTic beat FaZe so far this season. We'll get that matchup again, of course, at some point. But this is what we put together. I didn't think it was too bad. But Thieves, on our list at least, were basically rock bottom and at the very bottom because they are dead last of the standings at the moment. They played a, for sure, solid OpTic team the other day, but this wasn't a particularly close series. They had a decent chance as well, the final round of the Control. They could have won it. Dashy, of course, hit the Kobe to get the victory here in the ends, but the Search and Destroy, they had a few first bloods, didn't capitalize. The Rio hardpoint was complete domination from the OpTic side, and if you guys didn't watch that series, this was the outcome, and I mean, yeah, it wasn't pretty, right? The red carpet, as they say, was out on the Thieves side here, and both of their SMGs, right, okay, they put Nastie, and I think Nastie looked pretty good this series. Ghosty is obviously the player you're looking to build around, and to be fair, Afro had a lot of damage, but there's so many times when Afro would just die in a way that would be so frustrating to watch. I don't know if JCap or Shade or the boys are watching this, but they, I'm sure, know how talented Afro is, but I don't know if he's like, you know, caffeine or he's banging a monster or whatever it is before these series, but if the coaching staff just got Afro just to be on the water, you know, let's just chill out, only drink water before the series, I swear it would help his gameplay, because there's so many, like, the talent is clearly there. There's just so many moments where he'll overextend, he won't pre-aim, he'll slide for no reason to throw away his life. It's just so frustrating to watch. And the question has been for Thieves, should they therefore make another change? Is it time that JoeDeceives comes back in for Afro? But I guess the question that people have been raising is that really going to move the needle that much? Yes, they played OpTic here. Yes, it's their first series back, but quite often when you make a roster change that's going to work, and even Kenny, I think, has said this at some depth in the past, that you make a roster change, you know if it's going to work quite quickly. It either clicks relatively quickly within the first few days of practice, or it doesn't, and if it doesn't, it's chalked. You might as well blow it up immediately. But if you do get the click, then fair enough. So I think I expected a bit more, right? I mean, map 1 was not even close. It was 250-122. Map 2 was 6-3, but if you actually look at the first bloods, Thieves had more first bloods. Kremp had loads of first bloods here. He had 4, but they didn't really capitalize on these. And then the Control, again, this could have been in favor of the Thieves, but again, like, Afro just had a stinker map right here. And OpTic ended up closing this one out 3-0. So I just think that if this Thieves team was going to work with the changes they made, I expected more in this first series. So I'll share a couple of clips here, really, especially of the guys discussing the Thieves team. Even there was a clip from HyDra in here. Now, this was the old Thieves team, but it was like some communication that's been leaked over the last couple of days, or just like loads of comms have been getting put out to the public. And what HyDra has to say on the old Thieves team, I thought was pretty funny.
There's just, bro, when I watch them play matches, it just seems like they're genuinely shitting their fucking pants. Like, just to put it bluntly, like, there's no... Like, there probably is a game plan, but they get into these situations where it just seems so straightforward. Like, do this, what, like, do X, Y happens, and they just, like, go back to A. Like, there's just no... It's just such a straightforward thing in these games when they put themselves in these situations and they just don't do what they're supposed to do.
My thing for these guys is they gotta figure out how to get some confidence here. They've got Miami,
they're
Minnesota,
screwed.
FaZe, Vegas, LAG, and then Toronto. So
they need
Pat,
to
you
win.
think they're
3 top 4 teams are going to play.
Tom.
To win
They might be
against the
fucked,
50-50s.
They might be fucked.
They're fucked.
No, they actually are fucked. Their schedule's insane, and they do not look like they. Bro, their comms are so bad. Like it was,
they're not great.
It was. So
Tom, you know what it
chaotic.
reminds me of?
The ponies?
No, the Thieves.
Oh no. Oh wow.
Like people got lights in their eyes, and I know you're very familiar with that.
Yeah, been there, Pat. In
the corner.
Nice, bro. I would have killed him. I just ammo.
This is ugly, bro. What are they doing on the map?
So these are the numbers of the players so far this season, and it's not looking great, is it? Let's be honest. I mean, it's all red all across the board. I think even Najot said the other week that Ghosty, when they made their initial change and JoeDeceives was gone and Cammy was gone, they're bringing in Nastie and bringing in Afro, or bringing in, of course, Kremp to the team alongside Afro to round out the roster. Najot said, well, you know, the plan is really just to put the pieces around Ghosty that will take us to the next level. And I think that's probably fair enough. Like, I think Ghosty is the player that you want to be building around here. There's been some questions about Parasite as well. is it ever really going to work? And I know that Zero's made this point, that if the guys aren't friends outside of the game, really, it's just difficult to make it work on this level. And putting the mix together of the American players and the UK players, is that really going to work? There's a debate on that. Seems like they brought in Nastie because Nastie and Afro have good history together. They've done well in the past on the Ravens, especially the start of Vanguard, for example. So maybe, I think they deserve a bit more time to see how it's going to go. But it doesn't fill anyone with too much optimism seeing their performance the other day, and just their comms were so like frantic and horrendous. As I say, just let's not do any monsters or Red Bulls or Cafe. Let's just get on the water. And I honestly think this team would play better, but that's probably like a ridiculous take, to be fair. However, these are the games they have upcoming, and it does not get any easier for them. They have the hardest schedule on paper. They played OpTic already, so I guess it gets slightly easier. So next week they play Miami, and they play, actually there's only one game they play this upcoming week again, which is really tough, right? But after that, they really start to kick things into gear a little bit more, with matches against Rocker, then FaZe, then Vegas, which is on the right-hand side, you guys can't quite see, then Gorillas, then Ultra. So it's one of the hardest stages you could really put together. Sure, Miami should be beatable. I mean, that's an absolute must-win for Thieves, no doubt. Rocker are, you know, top 5 team in the game right now on present evidence. Then it's FaZe. Vegas are beatable, but even then, I mean, are we taking Thieves to beat Vegas right now? Tough to say. Gorillas beatable, and then Ultra. So they've got, like, they are playing the top teams. Like, they're playing all of the top 4 from the most recent major. They're not playing New York, to be fair. So maybe it could be worse, but it's still not great. Added to the fact that they are still dead last of the standings. And I think there's a big question at the moment as to which teams are going to qualify for the World Championship, because as I see it, Surge, yes, they have 60 points, but they are looking pretty shambolic. Boston, I expect them to qualify. I think they will make it. I'm not convinced at Ravens. I'm not convinced by Legion. I'm not convinced by Gorillas. And I'm not convinced by Surge, right? I know it's still, 60 points to 20 is quite a big deal, but there's still plenty of the season still to go. My question, I guess, is that I always felt like Thieves would do what Boston are maybe starting to do and make a bit of a resurgence. I've still got my questions about Boston, but I think they'll be good enough to climb this leaderboard over time. Thieves, I expected, and maybe still part of me does still expect them to do the same thing. And over time, they'll finally figure it out. They'll start to get some wins together, and they'll climb up the leaderboard. They'll make it to champs. But I don't know. After what I saw the other day, and the fact that a team still seems to be in some degree of turmoil, not really sure what they're doing going forwards, I can understand why people are losing confidence massively that they'll even make it to the World Championship this year. Because, they're already like 30-odd points behind. And sure, Surge are here at 60, so they've been looking pretty shambolic, but it's still a bit of a hurdle to find, and Thieves will need to improve. Now, of course, their schedule does get easier over time. Like, this is their major 2 set of qualifiers. Their major 3 qualifiers go like this: Vegas, Miami, Ravens, Rocker, Boston, Surge, OpTic. So that's one of the easier ones you could really go for. And then major 4 qualifiers, they have Ultra, they have FaZe, they have New York in here, so that gets a bit harder again. But it's the major 3 qualifiers they need to be capitalizing on. But very much interested in your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.
Wait, is Italy in Paris? Okay. I'm not gonna say it, dude. Chat, Italy and Paris is not the same shit, right? No, obviously not. Okay. Oh, anyways. Alright, yo, yeah.